Boys, here we are. Everybody has been asking for this. Not everybody, but a lot of people have been asking for this. So today we're going to be doing an updated tier list from what I felt on the PTS servers over this weekend. Typically, things don't change that much from the PTS going onto live servers, so I think we have a pretty good idea of what it's going to look like. Let's jump right in. If you're watching my PTS stream, you know that I am not a huge fan of the MXR getting a buff, and it did get a buff, and it got I think a strong one, and I think that it might be a little too strong. I think that Dahlia, especially since EMPs are going to be more viable, since other characters that have EMPs are going to be more viable next patch, I think Dahlia goes straight into the S tier, and the reason that EMPs make Dahlia stronger is because of Saint's drone. Saint's the only competition for a support is Saint, and if there's gonna be more EMPs on the map, that's gonna be harder for Saint to get reses because one EMP and then the res is canceled. So I don't know. I think that Dahlia is gonna be required pick coming up. Anvil has that LMG that is strong. Anvil's just kind of like, he's never the best rogue in the game, but he's never useless. He's always really good. I think he always sits basically on this A and B line right here. I think he's still there. I think if you could put him in A or B, I wouldn't argue it. I think Anvil has to still go A. I mean, it's not like he's never going to be the best rogue in the game, but he's always going to be useful and very useful. So that's where we're going to put him. Let's keep going. Shock. The D40C is insane. Flashes are obviously really good. The Semtex is good. His overheal is good. Everything about his kit is strong. I think Chalk goes right into the A tier with Anvil because Chalk is like, and for competitive, he's good in demo on some maps, but in King of the Hill and Strikeout, he's almost a must pick or he's banned. So yeah, he's strong. He's very, very, very strong. Dallas, as you know, Dallas was the lowest ranked character on my last list. The HRM did get a buff. His pistol is now insane as well. So you don't even really have to buy a gun with Dallas now. You can literally just use the pistol. His guns are strong, but you can 100% get away with using the pistol. That'll allow you to spend your money on a lot better things. Where does he go? I think he goes to the B, A? I think he is on the B tier. I think he's improved, but I don't think he's near one of the best rogues in the game. I think he's very average still. He's not the best, but he is good. Definitely a lot more viable. He's a lot better. Dima now. Dima, I think, is he's really fun now. I don't know if he's one of the top rogues in the game, but he is really fun. That Stalker addition to him in place of Nimble Hands, I believe, allows that K30 in the Mamba. It just feels so clean. I think he could use Replenish back in place of Resupply because he used to have that, but now he doesn't. So I think that he could definitely use Replenish back. If he had Replenish back, I think he's A, but I think now he's a B tier player. I think he's a B tier rogue. I think he's still very strong. I think he does a lot of things well. I think he's on this a little bit worse than Anvil, I'd say. I can't really put him on the same tier as Anvil, but he is still really good. So he is B tier for now. Glitch. Everybody thought that Glitch was gonna get this huge buff. Shiloh was going crazy behind me. Everybody thought that Glitch, like he did get buffed, but I'm still not feeling how strong he is. I still think that the SMG shotgun combo is just tough because you don't have that range that the other rogues do, and he doesn't really have a great way of getting into those close ranges. Yeah, that hack is great and all, but like Lancer, she can flank and get close range of people. Glitch can't really do that. I mean, he can padded step with his ability out, but I still feel like he's just lacking something, and I feel like the thing he's lacking is having an assault rifle. I think an assault rifle would make him like too strong, maybe, but maybe it would just put him on par with the rogues that do have all ranges. So I think that Glitch is gonna stay in the B tier. Now Lancer got buffed. She has 4 seconds more on her ultimate now, which I don't think was needed, but it's here. I think that 4 seconds and her gun got buffed. The shotgun got buffed too. I think Lancer reaches the S tier overall. Obviously in respawn she's S tier, but Demolition was where I didn't really think she was the best rogue. Now I do. Now I think she's up there. I think she's insane, and I don't really like it, but that's what it is. So keep going on. Phantom. Now, Phantom, I feel now with the buffs to both snipers, so Fixer and Phantom snipers will now one-shot headshot anywhere on the map, which I think is good. If you land a headshot, you should knock somebody. And on like weird like places like across the map on lockdown, the headshots actually wouldn't knock everybody. So I think that now with that buff, it's not like crazy, but it's helpful. But Phantom, now that Fixer's got these buffs, I don't know. I think that Phantom's just outclassed. Like not like kind of like the way it was when Fixer was originally in the game in the beginning. Like where Fixer does everything that Phantom does but better. I feel like we're back in that situation where why pick Phantom when Fixer can do everything she can do but better? And yes, I know Phantom smoke counters Fixer smoke, but why not just pick Fixer in that situation? Because you're throwing a smoke inside another smoke as a chance to counter it, and he can still see through it sometimes. Or you can just pick Fixer into the other one, or just ban it. So I think that we're back in the situation where Fixer just does everything Phantom does better, so she's gonna go in this tier. Now Ronin, as most of you know, Ronin has been my main since I downloaded the game almost a year ago. She finally got a buff. I think that this buff is going to be great for ranked. The buff is her passive. Now she is immune to all reveals. That is sticky sensors, that is Dallas reveal, that is secret reveal. Every single reveal in the game she is immune to. It's OG cloaked before they nerfed it. So with that on top of it, I think that it will allow Ronin to be really, really annoying in Demolition. I don't think that much changes for her in Strikeout and King of the Hill, but in Demolition, she's gonna basically ruin the intel meta if she's left unbanned. I think that teams that enjoy running Seeker and Dallas are just gonna ban her out because they'll just easily be able to dominate it. Well, Ronin will easily be able to dominate them if they do pick the intel characters. So I think that Ronin's in the A tier now. I think that that buff is good. I think her guns are good. I just don't think she can be in the S tier without Life Drain. I feel like Life Drain's a little too strong in those respawn modes. It's basically required, and without it, I really can't give you an S tier unless, of course, you're Dahlia, who can res people in 2 seconds from 30 meters and has one of the best guns in the game. All right, now Saint. We're kind of back in the situation where there's another character like Dahlia that does everything that Saint does but better. The only difference now is that Dahlia can't reveal everybody in the map. She has to pre-link to somebody. So that's the only thing really restricting her. I do think Saint is still viable for that reason. He can res anybody on the map, but Saint's res is also a lot easier to stop. So I think Saint goes into the B tier. The Mama did get buffed, which is helpful, but I think that's where he belongs for now. Scorch. Now, Scorch's pistol got buffed, and that thing's been getting buffed every single patch. So is it good now? I didn't really get a chance to use it that much. At best, it's probably average again. So we're just gonna act like that's not real. The Arbitrator got buffed. It's dumb gun. You know my opinion on the Arbitrator if you've been here for long enough. And the SOC is good. The thing that I think makes Scorch more viable now, more than she even was before, is that Switchblade, her ultimate is a rocket launcher. Scorch has tenacity, and then after the rocket launcher explodes, it leads to fire everywhere, and the fire everywhere Scorch is immune to. And she has a bounce aid, which obviously Scorch has tenacity and armor. So basically, if there's a Switchblade on the other team, Scorch is a really good pick into it, and Scorch is really good overall too. I think that Scorch goes into the S tier because of these reasons. Now there's another character that she counters. So I think that now picking Scorch is really, really safe. There's a lot of mollies on the map, and there's a good chance that at least somebody in the other team running one, maybe 2 mollies in the other team. So Scorch can play into those really, really well. We have Talon. Talon, I think he needs a little bit of love. He did get that small buff with his ability where it has a increased 3-meter radius. I don't think that's that much, and especially since Ronin will be seeing more play now because of her passive buff. I think that Talon's going to be used less and less. So I think that Talon goes into the B tier. His gun did get buffed too, but I think it's just an average gun. I think he just is very average, and I feel like he needs something to make him above average, or he's just going to sit here forever, which is not the end of the world. It's okay. Trench. Now, Trench's barbed wire now does 5 damage per tick while you're standing inside it. It's similar to a molly. The problem with this right now, which makes Trench like not played the way he's meant to be played, is like, say that I'm on a half wall crouching and there's a trench in front of me. He can throw the barbed wire 20 meters at me and I'll start taking damage to it. It's basically like an off-brand Molly. So I think in that sense, he's a little annoying, but I don't think that it's overall going to be like a major issue. I think that since Trench now, if he's using that, his like barbed wire like Molly's, they should limit his like throw range to like 10 meters or less, if that's how it's going to be. But I feel like they also don't need to do that because I don't think Trench is going to be that strong even with it. It's just like a weird mechanic I don't really like. I think that Trench just is very average still. I think he's on this like A and B line kind of. Like he's better than average, but not by enough for me to put him in the A tier. Vi doesn't have tenacity, and now it actually matters that she doesn't have tenacity. Because before, when they took tenacity away from her, then they nerfed tenacity to make it useless, and they gave her bounce back, so it was an indirect buff. But now she actually doesn't have tenacity, and tenacity is useful, so it actually hurts her. She's still very good, don't get me wrong, but she's not as insane as she used to be. Is she above average? Yes. I think that she is A tier now. She's still really, really strong on a lot of maps, and in respawn she is unstoppable. She's definitely an A tier. C tier, D tier in chat, come on. Wait till you see her on Saturday being played in King of the Hill and Strikeout. She is going to be really strong. And in demo, she's still good on some of the maps. So, yeah, we're going to do Fixer last. Sigrid. Sigrid is one of the most banned rogues in Ranked. I'm not really sure why. I feel like there's very, very easy ways to deal with her as long as you're not alone. If you're alone, then you're fucked. But as long as you're communicating with your team, like you can deal with the Sigrid pretty easily. I still think that she is like strong, don't get me wrong, especially 2 stims and life drain. Like she's hard to kill, but as long as you're not alone, you can deal with her. But the problem is in solo queue ranked, a lot of the time you are alone. A lot of the time your teammates don't have mics. But I think she's A tier right now. Kestrel. Now, Kestrel was the best rogue in the game for a long time. She wasn't picked that much in the PTS, but from what I think, her gun is not as strong anymore. It still is if you're hitting the headshots, but you have to hit a lot of headshots. I still think that with the 2 stims and bouncing running around the map, until her stims are taken away, she's still above average, so she's going to go in the A tier. Seeker is elite, obviously. The only thing I'd say against him is he can no longer reveal Ronin, but if you're a Seeker main, you could just ban Ronin, and then you don't have that problem. They gave Seeker a buff. He was in my S tier last patch and they buffed him. So obviously he's going into the S tier. I could even make an argument to put him in an S plus tier above this, but just for the sake of the video, I'm going to put him in the S tier. Mac. Now, Mac is in a really weird place. I feel like he's capable of so much, but nobody's been able to bring it out of him, including myself. I don't really know what to do with him. I really don't. I feel like he has this hidden potential that nobody's been able to break yet, and I really don't know when it's gonna happen. But for now, I can't really put him higher than B. I mean, like everything about him is good. In respawn, like he's good, but like I don't know what to do with him. Like I feel like at some point somebody's gonna figure something out, a different way to play him, and he's going up to A or S. But right now, I can't justify putting him any higher than B as much as I want to. All right, Switchblade. Switchblade rocket's good. It's a little bit hard to aim, but I was getting good with it towards the end of the PTS. If you didn't know, when you have a nade or a rocket launcher out, if you're on mouse and keyboard, you can actually right click it to aim it. So if you want, that's helpful for you. It is pretty good. It's really, really fun to suicide bomb people, and the Mark IV is good. Her perks are good with tenacity, life drain, and she has flashes and a bounce nade, which is not a combination we've seen before. I think there's a lot of potential in her. I think she has the potential to be S tier, but unless you're banning Scorch, there's definitely a problem on the other team. I think that she goes in the A tier for right now, and then she has the potential to go up to S the more people get her hands on her, but I haven't seen her full potential yet, so I'm not comfortable putting her with these 4 amazing rogues up here. And of course, Fixer last.
This character got buffed in the last patch. He's the best character in the game and got buffed.
So we're gonna add a row above. S plus. Does Fixer go in this tier. Thank you for watching. They gave him replenish on a sniper. Yeah.